and welcome to Unstuck with Charlie. My name is Charlie Arms, and today we're going to take a look at what the Bible has to say about depression. Yes, a biblical remedy for depression. I want to begin by jumping off into the book of Proverbs, and we're going to be in chapter 12, verse 25, and it says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a good word cheers it up." That phrase, weighs it down, can be translated into the word depression. There are situations with people and struggles in a variety of areas that weigh us down and lead to anxiety and ultimately to depression. The Bible's teaching here is consistent with every modern psychological understanding of depression. There are a lot of things which make us anxious, and that anxiety leads to depression. You have financial struggles, you have relationship issues, you have health concerns. These are some of the biggest sources of anxiety. We might call these the big three, right? These are our greatest sources of anxiety and depression. But I want you to pay attention to the second half of that verse, and it gives us a clue on how to counteract some of our anxiety and depression. It says, a good word makes it glad. A good word can make our heart glad. What we need is good words when we're anxious and depressed. Our anxiety and depression leads us to focus on bad news, and so we need good news to counteract that. And I want to give you three good words that will make your heart glad. And you know what I love most about these words, these three words, is that these are things you can do. You don't have to just sit back and take it. You can begin to take control of your anxiety and depression. These are biblical remedies. And here they are. I want to jump right into it. The first good word is confession. And for this, I want to take a look at 1 Timothy 6:12. This is the first remedy. It says to take hold of the eternal life to which you were called when you made your good confession in the presence of many witnesses. Now, this word confession has gotten a bad rap. We think of confession as something bad, something we ought to be ashamed of. But in proper context, proper biblical context, the word confession is something that leads us to healing. In fact, it's the first step any counselor will encourage someone to take is to admit to the anxiety, to confess it, to admit that you're anxious, you're depressed. The Bible encourages us to confess this to others. Now, confession could be about a sin that we've committed that weighs us down. It could be something we're doing that's wrong that weighs us down. But most of the time, confession is an acknowledgement to someone that we're just simply struggling, maybe with everyday activities, just getting up out of bed, just dealing with people. But we have to name our battles before we can win our battles. And the best way to win a battle is to acknowledge it. You got to confess it. This verse says to even have witnesses around us in our confession. Doesn't mean we have to share it with the world, but we need to share it with someone because it makes it real. And when you confess, it puts the focus on the problem. It brings the problem out into the light. And you can't win a battle that you don't acknowledge. If you're depressed and struggling, the first good word I speak over you today is confession. It could be to a pastor, a priest, a rabbi, whatever faith tradition you're part of. But it could just be a good friend or family member who cares. The point that I'm making is don't suffer alone. Don't go it alone. Don't be a lone ranger. Confess to the depression. Confessing is the first step toward overcoming the battle. Don't bottle it in. Bring it out into the light. Light is the best disinfectant, they say, right? Remember, good words can make a heart glad. The first good word, the first remedy is confession. Well, all right, the second good word I want to give you is counsel. That's the second remedy. The first one is confession. The second one is counsel. Proverbs 11:14 says, where there is no counsel, a people falls. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. Seek counseling. Now, if you're having thoughts of suicide, or maybe you think the world would be better off without you, I'm going to just implore you, seek out a local counselor, a professional. There is safety there. These are persons trained to help you work through whatever's going on. Now, maybe you can't afford that kind of money, but really that doesn't have to stop you from getting counsel. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to call up a good friend, take them out for a cup of coffee, maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't really matter. And what I want you to do is talk with them about what you're going through, what you're feeling. I know that's going to be uncomfortable, but I want to encourage you to do it because it's for your breakthrough. It's to help make your heart glad. There is safety there. Now, if you go to church, call your pastor, maybe one of the church leaders. Many times, these are persons who have a lot of experience helping people, working through things, giving you biblical advice, all of those kind of things. It's the kind of support and advice that you need. Now, oftentimes you think in your mind that you don't want to drag somebody down. You don't want to be a burden. But I'm going to tell you that you need your breakthrough. I want you to have breakthrough. And if you want your heart to be glad, confession and counsel are key. I can almost guarantee you that your friend, your pastor, your family member, they will be glad that you reached out. These two words can save your life. And it's something you can do. Confess and seek counseling. You aren't meant to do it alone. You're not meant to go it alone. As a Christian, I'm reminded of the many times the Bible encourages us to bear one another's burdens, to encourage one another. And as a father, I'm going to tell you, there's nothing I wouldn't do to help my kids or my wife feel happier. There's no amount of time, no amount of energy to help them get through something difficult. And I'm sure you have family members or members of your church, maybe close friends, who feel the same way about you. Confession is incredibly important. Counsel is incredibly important. These are the first two remedies. Okay, that third good word is serve. Proverbs 11:25, got it right here on the screen for you. Generous persons will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Serving God and serving others is not just a slogan for the church or for a nonprofit. It's actually one of the ways God designed us. We are meant to serve a higher purpose. And a lot of our anxiety, a lot of our depression is tied to the fact that we're not fully serving our purpose. We feel like our lives don't have meaning and significance, that we're not achieving all that we should. One of the ways your heart can be glad, and one of the ways that you will be refreshed, is to do something for someone else, to do something significant to help others. Now, we're all wired and made by God to do this. To be generous isn't simply putting money into an offering plate or making a donation to charity. It's doing things for others. Go ahead and bake that cake and take it over to your neighbors. Make good friends with your neighbors. Get out and socialize. Buy some food and drop it off to the police station or fire station with those who are on call during the holiday season. Make calls to the elderly in your church. Go to the nursing home with a group to visit people there who are lonely. Now, I'm sure your church has many services going on, many activities. Maybe you feel like you've needed to be doing more to help at church or with the charity that you love. The point I'm trying to make is that idle time and idle hands are not good when we're depressed, when we're feeling blue. We need to be doing something. We're wired to do something to help serve others. If you're not part of a church, that's okay. There are many local agencies that would be glad to have you as a volunteer. Generous people will be refreshed. Now, these three good words to make a depressed heart glad: confession, tell someone. Don't go it alone. counseling. Seek out help. Seek out positive encouragement. Bring in witnesses to share this with and help yourself out. And then thirdly, serve. Be productive. Do something for someone. Take your mind off yourself, put it on someone else. Now, I pray these three words resonate with you and you can move past the anxiety and depression, start to take control of your life. I want to encourage you to move forward and implement these good words, these remedies. Now, do me a favor and hit the like button on your way out. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. It'll help me out, and I would really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Give me some feedback. And most of all, be blessed, and let's move forward.